How's it going, YouTube? In today's video, we're going to be working on the third generation Toyota Tacoma. We're going to be cleaning out our air intake system from soup to nuts, meaning we're going to start with the air filter first, then we'll remove and clean our mass airflow sensor, then finally we'll clean out our throttle body. Now, this isn't really necessarily a difficult thing to do, but you got to pay attention because there are some sensitive electronic components that we're going to be working with here. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect that battery. So first thing we're going to do here is pop this open. You got a tab here, a tab there. Unhook those. And there's one more in the back, I think. Mine might have fallen off. I only got two. That's weird. Pop that up, then you have access to the old air filter. It's been about probably 30 to 40,000 miles since I've done mine. Sometimes with a paper filter, you can just kind of visually inspect it. And if it doesn't look too junked up with bugs and stuff, you can just run it right back in or even knock it out. But this thing's probably getting to the end of its life, so we're going to replace that. And we're just going to take our new filter and drop that in. Very easy. Make sure it's set, make sure everything lines up here, and then just reverse the process of how you unclamp this. Make sure that's seated, make sure you can't see anything showing there. What you're going to do is take this little latch, hook it, pull it. Do the same thing in the back. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is to actually remove this. And so I've loosened it up already with a pair of needle nose, and that should just come right off. Then you're going to find that there's two screws holding in your mass airflow sensor. I've also already removed those. There's one down here and one on here. You're slowly just going to take this thing out. And the orientation of your airflow sensor does matter. So you'll see there's a big open scoop here, and there's a smaller side. So when you go to reinsert this, you want the big side to go facing your airbox. And this way your truck can get an accurate gauge on whatever's coming through there. This thing isn't too dirty, but I have run an oiled air filter in the past, and I can guarantee it's probably gummed this up a little. So we're going to go through and clean this with some CRC spray. So this is what we'll be using today. This is mass airflow sensor cleaner specifically made for this. And the great thing is that this stuff actually evaporates, so you don't really have to wipe it down. There are cheaper alternatives to this on Amazon. However, when it comes to, like, I don't know, a couple $100 in electronics, it's not really worth it to me to save a couple bucks on airflow cleaner and get something that might accidentally gum up your system. As you can see, I put down some cardboard here. It's because it's going to get a little messy. Now, you really only want to spray the parts that actually have to do with measuring airflow. I mean, I guess you can clean the top of it if you really wanted to, but the parts that matter are the exposed electronics, so that little guy right there. And then you can actually get in there a little bit too, and you'll see we're going to douse this thing pretty good. So the nice thing is that this stuff evaporates. So we'll watch, and you'll see it actually kind of starts to disappear. Which is nice. It might sink into the cardboard, but as far as on here, it actually cleans up. Now my airflow sensor isn't actually all that dirty, which is nice. But as I said earlier, I have run an oiled filter in the past, and I can guarantee you the inside of this is kind of gummed up. As you can see here, we're looking nice and clean. It's all nice and dried. So now we're going to go and reinsert it. Alright, so I've just gone and reinstalled this, and make sure when you go to reinstall your airflow sensor that your sensor itself is flush to your air pipe thing, whatever, here. Sometimes you got to kind of push it down a little in order to seat it properly, and then put all the screws in. Next up, we're going to move over to the throttle body, which means taking off that cover. First, let's remove this cover. Just comes up with a little bit of pressure. You can take the whole thing off or leave it on. For this job, I would take it off because we're going to need access to that. All right, step one, we're going to get at this hose clamp here, and we have a 10mm bit on our drill. I like to do this, just makes life easier. Now with that hose clamp loosened up, remove our tools, and we're going to actually take this whole thing up and off. So really, if you're doing the whole assembly like I am, don't clamp this back when you replace your air filter, because you're just going to have to take it out. And you should be able to just wiggle it right off. Just watch those wires. Next thing we're going to do here is to disconnect the electronics for the throttle body. Just going to loosen up this clamp a little and slowly wiggle it off. There we go. And now we should be able to take this off. So now with our space here and our electronics disconnected, we're going to unhook our actual throttle body itself. I'm going to start it by hand. Might do it by hand the whole way. Same 10 mil that we had. lefty loosey. Alright, so I've gone ahead and taken these two top studs out. I also disconnected this hose that connects to our actual air intake here. And then there's one more bolt down here that's now more accessible since we moved this. There is a hose that connects to your throttle body right here, if you can see that. It's an absolute bear to get off. It is a little flexible, so I'm just going to pull this thing off and kind of gently sit it. And that way I don't have to remove that, but we can have access to clean both sides of this. All right, we've gotten that bottom one off, and then there's just one final bottom one that you can kind of feel. It's right over here where that hose connects. So I very gently pulled that off, and now we can actually see the inside of the throttle body. You can see there's a lot of buildup on this. Yeah. The reason why you want to clean your throttle body is because if this thing's all gummed up, it's not going to be opening and closing in time with what the computer is telling it to do, which could lead to your truck running rich, running lean, and means losses in horsepower or fuel economy. That's the back side. And very gently, like we're handling nuclear materials here. There's the front. The front's not as bad, but you can see there's definitely some oil droplets and stuff on it. So we're going to hit that with some CRC and clean that up. So there it is, all cleaned out. See, that side is now nice and shiny. Took a shop towel rag thing, and as I was dousing this, I used that to kind of scrub up a lot of that carbon buildup or whatever it is, unburnt fuel, something, soot. And now we're nice and shiny, and we're looking good. Now we're just going to go and reconnect everything in reverse order. So I have it hanging on one stud. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Tighten everything back down. Reconnect this. Reconnect your tube here. Now with this all tightened back down, we're going to line up our air intake here. Our intake, whatever you want to call this thing. Jam it on there. Make sure it goes all the way back here. There's a little tab on your throttle body that needs to be touching the rubber. You know that you're far enough in. Sometimes you gotta finagle it and wiggle it a little. There we go. We're also gonna reconnect this hose. Just slide it back on there. Pull those rabbit ears back. Get it all the way flush there where it belongs. Bring our clamp forward and clamp her down. And we're gonna tighten that hose clamp there. And then don't forget to put your plastic engine cover back on. Crucial piece of the engine here. Take all your tools out of your engine bay, reconnect your battery, and then we're good to go. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video helped you to clean out your air intake system on your Tacoma. If it did, or if you have any questions about the whole process, please drop a comment in the comment section. Throw me some likes because it helps keep the channel relevant and going. And until next time, I will see you later.